Welcome to Metal Wani and Metal Nation Radio. With us today we have Tony Asta of Battlecross. How you doing?
Fantastic, man. Thanks for having me.
Fantastic. Now, rise to power. First of all, I have to tell you that this new milestone in your career is without any doubt the best Battlecross album so far. What's your take on this? How excited is the band?
Hey, man. First of all, thank you for saying that. That means a lot. I really appreciate the kind words. Um, well, we're very excited to put that up to Rise to Power, and it's just the next chapter for us, and it's where we are as musicians now, and we're just really excited to get out there and hit the road and play some new material and keep it fresh and just go out there and just have a good time. So.
Oh, that's cool. And the single is already out. How have the fans responded? Because that's very important to see how they perceive the new sound that you guys have come up with.
Yeah, well, when we put out our first single called "Not Your Slave,"
Hmm.
I think we had a pretty overwhelmingly good, positive reaction.
Right?
And which I'm very happy about. You know, the band's ecstatic about that.
Hmm.
And when it came time to pick our first single, we collaborated with our label Metal Blade and our management, and just kind of picked the one song that we thought that would be cool to just come right out with.
Right.
And it happened to be "Not Your Slave." So we're just very glad that people, especially our fans, are responding well to it. There were a few people who were like, "Oh, where's the speed and all that kind of thing," but it's just, it's the first song, and we figured, we kind of put out something that people wouldn't expect,
Right.
as far as like, out of the songs that we could choose from. So, I just hope that those fans are patient and they, await the next few songs and when the album comes out. And then we also put out the single on Loudwire called "Spoiled," which
Hmm.
is a little more picked up songs, a little more rock and thrashy and with some cool leads in it and stuff like that. So I've seen some good responses for that. However, it's not on YouTube yet, or we can't release it yet until the album comes out. So I have a feeling that there's a whole other audience out there who might be able to hear it yet. So
Awesome. That's really great. Now you're talking about the sound of the album, and it's pretty much cool to see how the kind of melodic approach you guys have taken on Rise to Power in terms of the number of guitar solos and also the other melodic parts together. Now this experimentation is always welcomed, and I think this has worked very well when you guys try to find the balance between your thrash sound and then with the melodic parts in there. So what
mhm.
caused this trigger? I mean, were you guys like tired of just playing thrash, or you just wanted to, probably let's say evolve as musicians?
I think it's just a combination of what we're feeling at the time when we're writing, and in comparison to our first two albums, I think this one definitely has a lot of melody to it.
Hmm.
Makes a nice balance of everything. But I think that's just the way it came out because that's how we were feeling, and if a part calls for a lead here with some harmonies and maybe harmonized solo or whatever or not, I think that just kind of comes out in the moment as far as like what feels best.
Right.
So I think that just has to do with just the maturity of the band, and also who we're working with in the studio. This time around we got to work with Jason Sukoff at Audio Hammer in
Hmm.
Florida, and he really like pushed us and brought out the best in us. I think for the material that we brought with us. So especially with the vocals and stuff like that. I think that Jason and Kyle, our singer, really collaborated really well with the vocals and with the phrasing and stuff like that. So I
Right.
think just a combination of just the band maturing and just kind of like where we are and what we want to hear, just kind of came out that way because that's just we always write songs that we want to hear. So if I want to if I'm playing this riff and I'm inspired and it drives the song to become something, and then maybe I feel a lead in this part, then I'll just keep trying some stuff out till something sounds like it really fits in. And not only that, but when I sit down to write leads, I like to just write something instead of just having it flash by and over before you know it, and not really knowing what's happening.
Right.
Really letting the notes sink in and like having something more memorable and memorable for me. You know what I mean? Maybe other people it's not memorable, but for me, I like it. So that's
Right.
kind of the approach that we take.
Fantastic, because I was just wondering, I mean, when you guys first entered the studio to record the album, what was the approach like? And when then you finalized it as an artist and let's say a music enthusiast, what were your expectations from the album, and how close did you feel that once the end product is ready, that you came close to the expectations?
Well, we definitely, when we walked in the studio, we approached it in a way, well, hey, we have this material that we're really digging,
Right.
and we have the meat and potatoes done, and let's see where we can take it from here.
Hmm.
So that's kind of the way we walked into it. And for me and for the rest of the band, mostly, I think that we were very like easygoing about it, like not being too picky in the sense of like, if there's a part that maybe I wrote that the band didn't want to keep, I wasn't
Hmm.
going to hold on to it. You know what I mean? I wasn't going to like, clench it. So it's
Right.
kind of one of those things where like we just walked in with like an open mind and just
Hmm.
kind of like really took the songs and did what's best for the songs without being like too attached to anything. So I think that really helped too. But as far as like what we expected, I can't say for sure necessarily what I expected from my point of view. I just knew that I wanted to have an album that was just the next level for us.
Right.
So I just didn't want to do the same thing twice. That's pretty much the one thing that I try to stick to is like not having exactly the same song again or whatever or the same
Exactly.
album again. So as far as that, I definitely think we nailed that. And then as far as how it came out, it definitely came out a lot better than I guess I could have expected because I just didn't know what to expect. I just
Right.
kind of knew that hey, we got some great material. We're just gonna we're gonna all chip in and do our thing and make it the best we can. And we know that our mix of influences and our sound will come up with something good that we like. And it's just a matter of whether the fans will like it or not. It's that's just up to them. So
Definitely. Totally. I mean, this is more like a bass influenced album, which I really like the way the production. I mean, ace quality, definitely. So, in terms of production battalion, of course, you talked about the producer. So, what else did you feel that you guys were able to explore, which you guys haven't done previously?
Um, well, I think we did work with Mark Lewis before on the last album, except for this time around he did a little more. I think in terms of the mixing and mastering and stuff like that.
Hmm.
He absolutely he did all the mixes, he did the mastering himself, and I think that really helped have the end product come out better than before.
Right.
Because last time on Will, he did some mixing and he had it where he wanted it. Then when we got it mastered, it changed. So it kind of like didn't really come out maybe as good as it could have had Mark done it then. So from my point of view, not knocking anybody, but I really think that this album, Rise of Power, sounds like it's the most solid sounding and best production. But 99% of it's real. The only thing that's
Yeah.
not a real sound is the kick drum is not a real sound. It's a triggered sound.
Hmm.
So, but all the guitars and everything, it's all we're playing it. And, all the drums are it's all real stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I just
Right.
I think that's important. That's definitely one of the things when we walk in the studio. That's like that's where we set the bar.
True.
Because
True.
I just want to say self-admitting here that on our first album, Pursuit of Honor, the drums and stuff, they were programmed drums.
Hmm.
Our drummer, he did play all the parts except for our engineer producer went in and programmed all the drums so it would sound like amazing. You know what I mean? Like right on. So after that experience, we went to Audio Hammer to do War of Will and do Rise of Power. We said, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to have real drums. We're going to have real feels. We're going to, I want to sound like a real band.
Right.
So it's definitely, we have to keep that bar there. So, and I just want to lead into Alex Bent, our drummer on this record. Phenomenal guy. He's young. He's like 22 years old. Super hungry. He's in another band called Archaic. He's done some other great stuff. He's doing some stuff I can't say right now with another band that's amazing, but he's
Hmm.
with us. And Alex is a great drummer, and he really, really delivered on this record. So I hope that when you listen to the drums, you can feel that difference. You can
Man,
feel
it's
that
amazing.
energy.
It's
So
amazing. I mean, in terms of, I mean, when I listen to Alex, belting this out, and then I listen to the sound which Mike, had done in 2013, it's way different. But then again, the organic feel and something, because I am a drummer myself, I can clearly relate to what Alex has been, his vision has been in terms of to basically nail the drum line. So for you guys, I mean, it's been 2 years since you guys are working together. How's been the chemistry, both as musician as well as Battlecross drummer?
well, to be honest with you, uh, it's amazing. But I do have to say that Alex, he actually joined with us just last year, so he has been jamming with us for a little over a year. And during the writing process, you know, he was there. We did have some stuff that we had like some programmed ideas for pre-pro that we had suggested to him that he took and made a lot better.
Right.
So when we went in the studio, he made it his own, and he definitely, you know, smoothed things over so it was like real, you know what I mean? So I think that just him coming from a background of so many different influences, you know, he's has such a wide range. It's not just metal. You know, he can blast like a, you know, a son of a gun, but then he also, you know, he has all the other styles down from playing in churches and whatever else, other kinds of bands and stuff like that. So being such a young guy, he has quite a bit under his belt, and you know, we're very privileged to be able to jam with someone, a drummer has such a wide range of influences.
Who's diverse.
Yes, diverse, very diverse.
Right.
So, yeah.
Sounds good, man. And even Kyle, I mean, is a very rare and very super hard-working vocalist in terms of how he can go from a high-pitched scream to growl in a blink of an eye. I mean, he interacts with audience very well in live shows, what I've seen so far. But how's he inside the studio?
He's a different animal. I don't know if even he quite knows how it works internally with his throat. You know, he's just he's a natural. You know what I mean? And I think we kind of, when he first came down and we started doing some vocals and stuff like that, it was kind of, you know, hit or miss on what he was doing, and we were like, okay, you need, you know, like take some time, you know, figure out what you need to do.
Right.
And then he, you know, a few days later, he started nailing it, and him and Jason worked together really well. So I think just, you know, him finding his sweet spot is really as scientific as it gets, you know what I mean? Because, I mean, like I said, I don't think he even knows, you know, exactly how he does it, but he just does it. And, yeah. But, you know, as far as, like, the highs and lows in the studio, all that stuff's done separately. So, like, when he's feeling his highs really, really well, he'll go in and he'll knock those out. And then when he's feeling his lows really well, he'll go in and knock those out. So it's kind of a separate thing. Although, you know, live, he's got to hit it. So, but that's the other thing, too. You know, when we're on tour, you know, you're very liquid, you're very oiled up, you're very warmed up, you're ready to go. So when you're on tour, it's a totally different monster. You know, you're not stuck in a studio. You know, you're on stage, you got all that energy, you got all that pumping through you. So it's a little, you know, you have that drive where, you know, you can just pull it off because it comes naturally that way because you've been doing it day after day.
Definitely.
So, you know, I really got to hand it to the guy for killing it. So.
Awesome. Now, you and Heron definitely have, you know, started this band a decade ago. And I'm sure you guys must have had a dream back then to where you guys want to see Battlecross at. You know, and a dream,
oh, yeah.
I mean, you guys have all worked so hard over the period of last 12 years. How close do you feel have you guys come to that dream?
Well, I think we've done things far beyond what we could have ever imagined, you know.
True.
I mean, even just a couple of years ago, when we did Orion Fest in Detroit, we got to be a part of that. And James Hetfield and Robert Trujillo of Metallica came out and actually introduced us on stage. And I mean, I could have died and gone to heaven that day. It was just beyond anything of my wildest dreams, just to even meet those guys and be a part of that whole thing. So I'd say, you know, the things that we've done, you know, up to date is, like I said, beyond anything we could have ever expected, you know, because. Or hoped for, because I think back then, when we first started up, you know, we were kind of just taking one thing at a time, hoping that one day we would get there, hoping that one day we would be able to just play a show, and then the next thing, well, maybe we'll go on tour. Then what about the next thing? Maybe we'll play a festival. And what about the next thing? You know, it's just to keep trying to climb that ladder and just try to do the next thing. Absolutely. So I think, you know, from where we started till now, it's like it's just beyond our wildest dreams. So we're very, very lucky. So.
That's amazing, Tony. Now, Tony, what about, I mean, you guys are touring machines. I mean, you keep touring across states, and super great to see you guys doing these shows. So what is the plan of taking this material live? I'm sure, man, this is going to sound insane.
Well, we're playing Heavy Montreal this weekend, and we're going to play at least 3 new songs off Rise to Power. And then we have CD release shows coming up in a few weeks, starting in our hometown here, and then a couple more after that, and then we're going right to Guar. So Guar and Butcher Babies tour right after that. So we'll be mixing in a few newer songs into the set, and we're very happy to play some new stuff because it's absolutely refreshing after playing 2 years or a year and a half, kind of the same kind of stuff,
Yeah,
and then
I understand.
getting a chance to play new things. It's very refreshing and very rejuvenating. So
Awesome, Tony. Now, Tony, before I conclude, how about you define the new album, Rise to Power, in just one sentence?
Rise to Power is the next level for Battlecross. It's in your face. It's more Battlecross, and I hope you love it. I mean, that's
fantastic, folks. New album, Rise to Power, coming out August 21st via Metal Blade. Go ahead and pre-order it. Thank you very much, Tony Asta, for taking some time to do this interview. I totally appreciate it. And all I can do is to wait for you guys to come here and play and obviously unleash hell on stage.
Hell yeah, brother. We'll see you then.